Everyone. Welcome to the 2018 year in review
We
episode.
made it. We made it. It's a full year. We've made a full year of this show, Rob. This is
true, yeah.
It's
I guess
insane.
our first episode was end of December, early January last year.
December 31st was our first episode ever of 2017.
We had a rockin' New Year's, guys.
Yes, we did. I remember that because I was bored, and I don't think you had anything going on, or you were going out later or something like that. I don't remember.
I might have worked actually, but
I don't remember. All I remember is that I remember you just had that really nice wallpapery background. 'Cause I think you were at a different place. You weren't at this house. You were at a different house, the house beforehand, or you're at someone's place because of the internet. I don't remember.
Yeah.
And this
okay.
this is the point. I'll find that picture of that and I'll put it in. I'll
Yeah, because
superimpose it.
I had terrible lighting,
Yep.
no sound,
Yep.
and all the little flowers. You're right.
Yeah, the flowers.
That was my old place.
And it looked like you were really, really cold, so you were really bundled up. Kind of like how I am now.
We didn't have any control over the thermostat in that house, so it was really cold.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
the landlord was trying to save money, and he didn't turn on the heater until it got to 40 degrees at one point. So it was 52 in the house, and I called him, and I was like, "Dude, we're gonna we're gonna stop paying rent unless the heat gets on in here."
So we have our, like Rob said, a 2018 in review. We're going to talk about our year in review, and then as we go along, we're going to splice in some special guests along the way. Depending on the length of the episode, it may be 2 parts, so I'll probably just throw these out back to back. There's no point of just waiting on it. So let's get started.
Gotta get the Patreon early views.
Gotta get those early views, kids. Early views. Yeah.
If you want to see it all at once, you gotta get in there.
There we go. There you go. That's right. You push that channel. Bud. Finally. So 2018 kind of started off with a bang. I guess if you think about it, we had Bebop.
A bang, you say?
Yeah, a bang. We had Bebop previews all the way from, I think, early December into release, which was the end of January, I believe.
I feel like it was January 31st or something.
This was the first set in the new design philosophy that they had. I guess they had some design change in Platinum, but it wasn't as drastic as Bebop.
Well, I mean, Platinum was a weird set because it took forever to come out.
Yeah.
And then it dropped right before Reno last year.
Yeah.
And then I think there weren't a ton of new cards, but there were enough that were kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was kind of wham, another set came out, and there were no events in January. So basically, Platinum came out, and then we had nothing before Bebop.
Yep.
And then we started having more events. So you never really got
a Platinum feel,
full sort of feel, I guess. Although I guess the whole year before had basically just been Street Fighter meta.
Yeah, it was
after Worlds.
Yep.
Because it was just that and then Platinum. So.
Yeah. And then so Bebop came out, which was, I guess, the license was awesome. People really liked that we had that license. But
the license is weird.
Yeah, okay, fine. Fair enough. But I love that show. The show's one of my favorites. But the design philosophy kind of smacked people right in the face. It completely...
It was a big change.
It was a big change. Big numbers, very, very tuned characters, I guess, if you want to say that. Very... Let's just say they were overpowered for their time. Let's just say that.
Sounds like an accurate statement.
Yeah, we had one banned character from that set, Twinkle Murdoch.
Yeah.
That would come later, but we're just going to say it now. She was banned.
Which would go make it 2 events, right? Vegas and Atlanta?
Vegas and Atlanta, then she was banned. That was considered the dark time for Rockford because we had people quit because of her, and they were not coming back. They never.
Actually, I'm wrong because there was Guelph too.
Oh, Guelph, yeah, Guelph, yep. Yeah, we had some people quit because Bebop was such a drastic change, and they weren't coming back. Yeah, it was weird. It was I guess.
I mean, I thought about it. The thing is you got to think in the time after Bebop came out, it was basically there was sort of the odd Woodman or something here and there, but for the most part, every single event was being won by a Bebop character, and the majority of top 8s were being made up of solely Bebop
characters,
and you had like tons of diversity fights. You know, I mean, you had Atlanta where I think you had 5 Spikes in the top 8.
Yeah. I think going into final round, I think more than that. I think there were how many? 7 total?
I think so, but I think like literally
all of them were.
If you did a top 8 cut,
yeah,
5 of the top 8 characters were Spike 1.
And I want to say there was one more diversity fight. Was there a Twinkle diversity fight?
I think there was like a Twinkle diversity and
a Spike 2.
There might have been something else.
Yeah.
There might have been a Spike 2 diversity. Yeah, because Scott got diversified.
Yeah, because Guelph was too small to have. He got diversified in Guelph.
Diversified Tim Keefe in Atlanta.
Okay, because it happened to him in Guelph.
Diversified in Guelph.
Yeah. So a lot of people were getting really salty about that, which is understandable. No one wants to go to a tournament where you play against the same 8, 9 characters over and over again. And to this date, the only character not to win an event is Ed 9, right? Because everyone's won one except for Ed 9, I think.
Well, I mean, I guess Twinkle, but she got banned.
Yeah, she doesn't count.
I believe that's right.
Yeah, so as we go on through the year, you'll notice that with the same design philosophy, more characters are in the mix, but it just felt like you couldn't play anything pre-Bebop, character-wise, to actually stay competitive. There were a few, like Vega, Yamato Man, stuff like that, but you were at a disadvantage because these characters were... Like, Jet's still one of the best characters in the game. Spike 1's still one of the best characters in the game. I would even put Faye in there, too, because even though she gets stopped by some random crap, she's still...
Like, Faye's interesting just because, like, we honestly, Faye's probably the Bebop character we've seen the most variety with.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, like, the
Windmill Punch build.
The Windmill Punch was really cool.
Yeah, the Graven Castle
Sand Grenade version was, like, really cool.
Yeah.
And even before that, like, when it was just kind of the dirtily, like, Graven Castle, like, that was fine, too. Yeah. Like, she could... Like, that's the thing is... Because she can get so much free momentum, there's a lot of things that she can do that like other characters can't.
Yeah.
So like she's a cool character.
Yeah.
Like it's definitely kind of fun seeing the different decks that people come up with for her.
Yep.
But
and then I think
yeah.
Go ahead.
I don't know. I feel like the salt kind of started early on the Bebop previews.
Sure.
You know, I think we all remember the
infamous Phil Birch.
The Gateway Shuffle.
Yeah.
You know, absurd strength.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, for me, like I traveled a ton in 2018.
2017.
2017, yes. Yeah. Whatever. Last year.
Which would be 2017.
2 years ago?
2 years ago. 2017.
Went to like a bunch of PTCs, went to Worlds, went to UK Nats, didn't go to US Nats just because it was like a week or two later.
Yeah, it was very close.
And I just really didn't like a little bit of it was like just being burned out, and the rest of it though was just, especially at the beginning of the year, like I just didn't want to play Bebop characters, and so I didn't want to go to events because it wasn't worth it. You know, you just like without having locals. I mean, if I'm going to play in something, I pretty much have to go to like a PTC or something like that.
Vicious has not won anything yet either. He's gotten second. Vicious hasn't won anything either. So it's 2 characters that haven't won anything. Yeah. So sorry to interrupt.
Surprising.
It is very surprising. It is. He got second. He got close. Got close at Nats, but yeah. But anyway, sorry. Continue.
It's okay. But yeah, I mean, so like the previous year I'd gone to Guelph, and I didn't go to Guelph this past year. And like in multiple previous years, I've gone to like the Atlanta PTC, and I didn't go to that this year. You know, I've gone to Worlds. I don't know if it's once or twice. I think just once because Vegas is a big trip. And I really didn't even consider it this year.
Yeah.
You know, people were asking, and I kind of like, I think I might have like checked a flight at one point, and I was just like, why? Like, you know, I had nothing I felt good about playing. I had zero interest in playing like a 120 person tournament with one of 8 characters. Like,
yeah, I get you.
Yeah, it just wasn't worth it. So I did show up to Indy.
Oh, you're going too far. You're going too far. I want to talk about up to my stuff. We're gonna take it in chunks here, sir. Take it in chunks.
Chris played in some stuff, you know, before.
So with Bebop coming out, I also felt the same way. Like I liked Spike 1, and I liked Spike 1 because I liked the control aspect that he had. But
like that 24 vitality.
Yeah, that too. I didn't feel like fighting the diversity fight. So I was already high on Yamato Man going into 2018.
You were high on something else too, huh?
Yeah, I was. Well, going into Worlds, yes, we'll get to that too. Don't worry about it.
That's foreshadowing, guys.
Yeah, it's foreshadowing. But yeah, like there were some cool cards out of Bebop, but like Gateway Shuffle, stuff like that. But I really still liked Yamato Man a lot, so I decided just to sit on that guy because he's not as good as a Bebop character, but he's very comparable. He was considered one of the more powerful guys out of Powerful Power. You know, 7-hand size character playing the Flying Yamato Spear on turn 2. You can't get wrong with that. You know, but yeah. So going into, I didn't go to anything early. I went straight to Worlds for the most part. My training grounds were my locals, which we had lost a couple people because of the Bebop meta. So it was as good as I could get. But so while I'm composing my thoughts, let's see what Kevin Broberg has to say about his 2018. We're with Kevin Broberg, and right now on the Guile treatment. And thanks for joining us, Kevin. And why don't you give us a rundown of how your 2018 went, and then what you expect to what your plans are, and what your hopes and dreams are for 2019.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks for having me on, Chris.
Yep.
My 2018. I guess just like UFS wise. I mean, it started out we were in the depths of the Bebop meta. I remember I don't remember exactly how I felt about it. I know that I couldn't find a deck I really liked.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Sean, you know, who I share a collection with, so it's a big part. You know, he was really excited about Twinkle Murdoch, and that deck is he was playing a Dragon Flare build of the deck, so she can't play safe attacks, but he cheats that with Technical Sphere, and so he force feeds your opponent a bunch of momentum, then burns him to death. It was really hilarious, and. You know, I just couldn't find a deck I liked, but I felt like playing my old favorite, Dr. Wily. There was a tournament in Guelph that I went up to, and it was really a giant clusterfuck. But it was really, I really learned that Cowboy Bebop is just born better than everyone else. So she has this aggro Dr. Wily deck, and I play against Spike 2 in the first round. And I don't know if you ever had this experience, Chris, but playing against Spike 2 with a deck that isn't Cowboy Bebop is so incredibly suffocating. Like, he's just born better than you at every phase of the game. Like, he's this incredibly potent aggro deck that has all these mix-ups and all this power, and then also he has all these insane tricks. And also, in the case of Dr. Wily, that deck very much relies on poking your opponent, getting momentum. And my round-one opponent, Scott, actually picked up on that and completely shut me out of the game. And as it turned out, I managed to win 2 rounds against, you know, Thomas Gordon and Danny Fung, like 2, you know, people who travel a bunch. But then I managed to really close wins, like taking advantage of like little misplays. You know, like one of my opponents didn't play around Revoke until it was way too late. And then that kind of thing. And then in the last round, I get paired up against Giggles, and my friend Giggles, you know, kind of just gets shipped whatever aggro deck there was in the format. We help him build that, and he showed up with Spike 2, and he scooped me in because he was out to diversity. And the most incredible thing was that on the other side of the bracket, my round 1 opponent, Scott, also locked out to diversity because Tim Keefe was undefeated with Spike 2.
Yeah, that's true.
But Scott played it out. Scott played it out all year, and he might be my MVP of 2018 because of the integrity of the results that he represented.
Got a toast to that.
Yeah, cheers. And so I get a top clutch, and I managed to clutch out Jesse, and then I play against Tim, and Tim doesn't know. Tim doesn't put it together that you can defensively use Spike to deny momentum.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm playing a game that is like lopsided in my favor compared to like what it abstractly should be, and he still really just dismantles me. Like I remember there's a point where I'm going into my attack turn, and his hand is just bang and revoke. Bang revoking me as a swordfish in play.
Sure.
And after the fact, I'm just like sitting there like, I don't know if my deck could possibly beat that in a million years. I don't know how good my hand would have to be before I could overcome that series of cards. That's so good.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I didn't play nearly as much UFS this year, I think, as I have in previous years. I've been Player of the Year twice.
Yeah.
And this year, I'm sure I'm not even.
Yeah.
They haven't updated the standings quite so much.
I think.
I'd be surprised if I was top 5.
Yeah. Okay.
Even though I ended up actually closing out the year with a PTC win, and I had reasonable placements. Anyway, I think
you'd be up there. Again. I wouldn't be surprised.
But so the bebop meta was pretty rough. And I like brewing. I mean, I think that I'm like a lot of people in the community who kind of got stifled a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think one thing that's different for me between everyone else is that I like brewing, but I also like sort of so. To cut to the chase, in teams at the World Championships a few months later, which is the next event I went to after Guelph, I believe. I actually played Spike 1 in teams.
Okay.
And I had a wonderful time. I remember I played actually the mirror match against Scott Sudman, and we were both playing this Death Spike deck that kind of had set the world on fire, starting with his win in Las Vegas. That's just a super duper Wally control deck. He was playing 4 Skull Barriers main, and all the speed reducts and all the stamina reducts, and just shutting the game down, and then closing it out with a giant attack string and some unblockable Fallen Angels. And I had a freaking blast in that mirror match. I had such a good time, and kind of, I guess one of the things here is that diversity sucks ass. I hate diversity. I couldn't even think about playing Spike 1 in singles because. Nobody had seen my best chances, and I ended up playing in singles. I play a vicious deck.
Okay.
And it was, it was my kind of vicious deck because it's exploiting this one weird interaction. It was actually built around the card Sensei. And I know this is an exercise to the reader what the hell my deck was doing, but it exploited Sensei in a very powerful way.
Okay.
And my first round I get paired against Andrew Alexa, who is, famous, 2-time world champion, I believe. And he's playing his favorite characters back in the game Vega.
Yeah.
And we play a super tight 3-game set. I managed to turn 2 kill him in game 2. I just dumpster him in game 2. But I actually remember I made a mistake with Cool and Focused, and I had one in play, and I just didn't think to use it. And there was a time I should have used it, and he checked just well enough to kill me because of it.
Oh, sure.
But I ended up playing against Garrett Brett, Barrett Bryant, who ended up being the national champion a few months later, and Andrew, and those 3 guys beat me. I beat 3 other people, and then I got a 1-1 draw in a super drawn out 6-hand size mirror in the last round against Ben Lambright.
Oh, okay.
Which was really kind of eye-opening to me. So how people get draws, because I don't get a lot of draws in UFS.
Okay.
Because I play decks that have a strong plan. I play pretty quickly, all that kind of stuff. And he could have played faster. I think I could have played faster. Our decks could have cooperated a little more.
Yeah, true.
But it was it was a really stalled out. I think we would have both been deep in deadlock kind of thing. Time was 3 minutes until he's like, all right, so I'm going to try to kill you. He misses, and I show him a Mayfield's Assault in my hand. I say, this card kills you. This card makes it so that I'm going to kill you on my turn. Will you concede? He says, nope, we'll draw. And it doesn't matter at all because I'm 3-3 going into this round, and Miles Tyler is way ahead of me on the first. His deck was way better than mine because I didn't even think about missile launcher. I actually hadn't built a missile launcher deck. But so the bebop meta came and went, and we saw the Mortal Kombat previews at Worlds, and they were so freaking cool.
Yep.
If the price I had to pay for getting to think about Goro for the first time, he's a 4 hand size who chooses his 4 cards, and he gets +4 damage to everything for effectively less than 3.
Yeah,
that's so freaking cool. So I appreciate the design direction they're taking with the game. I think it's really exciting. It's really cool. And after the set came out, one of the decks I had been kind of brewing in the back of my head, I call it Suicide Vega. So it's an evil Vega deck that played every way to lose by talent. Originally it was 30 attacks and 4 Teddy Bombers kind of thing.
Sure.
But as I built an iteration with 25 or whatever attacks, and it was much better than I expected it to be. It could compete. I remember I actually played Mark Wisniewski. Did you guys see him? Right?
At Nationals we did.
Yeah, at Nationals.
Yeah.
And so his Jet deck.
Yes.
I played against his jet deck, like the week 1 version of that thing, and I was stunned that I was able to compete with that.
Yeah.
And so that pretty much became my deck. It became my spirit animal of the format. I love that deck so much. And as it turned out, with the exception of UK teams and then eventually the Reno PTC, that was the only deck I played competitively for the rest of the year, which was only 3 events.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
So I went to UK Nationals and I played Vega in singles. I got to a top 3 finish. I got 4th place. I played against a Quan Chi later, and I discovered that I would never ever have won that matchup.
Yeah.
So it's totally okay. Congratulations to Mike. I'm really happy you won. It was amazing to go over there and see everyone again, to ride some trains. It was a wonderful time. I didn't do nearly as much traveling as in the past, but I feel like I've kind of gotten the hunger in again after going to Reno.
Oh yeah, nice.
I'm skipping around now a lot.
Yeah, it's okay, no problem.
And actually, I want to talk about a little bit about sort of, again, the Mortal Kombat metagame. One of the things I really loved this year was kind of participating in Discord and the community we have there, the deck building, and the amount of trolling we can accomplish. So in the first event with Mortal Kombat Legal, I got to cheer on Rob Snyder playing the Troll Adakaris deck.
Yeah.
And I mean, Devin had been playing that for a long time prior to Bebop coming out, prior to any of the cards making any sense at all. Just it was really a turbo deck, where it actually made a lot of sense because you only have a 40-card deck. It's easier to mill people. But I kind of got to have a front seat in the evolution of that deck. I eventually gave it to Sean O'Brien, picked it up, and we played it in teams at Nationals. Almost no one seemed to play it or even really particularly prepare for it, which was kind of an interesting thing. And then I think when Street Fighter vs. Darkstalkers came out, I gave my spit out for a Premier Store event to go troll the guys in Buffalo.
Yeah, I saw that.
Just down the street, and I had so much fun with it, and I committed to going to the Reno PTC, and I said I'm going to troll those guys with it too.
Might as well, for sure, because he's only around for less than a couple month or so. Yeah,
I've got to send the Immortal Demon King out. I've got to,
on a high note,
I've got to bury him in the gold. He's a pharaoh. You gotta respect that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think that's kind of my year. This year wasn't. I feel like I was much less successful this year than I've been in the past.
Okay.
Like I went to fewer tournaments. And at the national major level, I missed top cuts in teams, except in the UK, which I feel like is a downturn for me. I don't know. I feel like I prepared reasonably well for that, but could have prepared better. I guess I could have picked better teammates or whatever. But I know at nationals this year, I single-handedly dropped the team for us. I ended up getting paired into Liu Kang twice, like the premier deck of the format, and managed to make it a 3-game set. But I know at the first round of teams, I get killed on turn 1 and turn 1 twice, I think, actually.
Ouch, that sucks.
I took very aggressive, kind of risky lines against Scott. So I was playing Quan Chi's Fortress and Fade. And so he played Foundation. I said, you know what? I don't want you to have the Foundation. Put it back in your hand. You have no progressive difficulty. And he just dumpstered me.
He just dumpstered you.
He just checked a couple 5s, had no Foundations to play. Who cares?
Yeah. Wow. That just seems like that was the format, and it's how the format just felt like for a while, like just a check 5 win format, like for the Bebop meta in a way. And like Mortal Kombat got better, and Street Fighter vs. Darkstalkers has added some neat stuff into it for the most part, But it's getting better. I think.
Yeah, I know. Like, I feel like a lot of people say that, and I kind of hate them every time they say that.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much you can do in a game of UFS to positively affect the outcome in your direction. And there's so many ways to make egregious play mistakes.
Yeah, and a lot of that is just play mistakes. That it's not my opponent checked good. It's like you could have done something to prevent that. Block that one attack. Maybe not build that foundation so you have an extra card to discard or to block, or whatever. It's just the way the game is. It's just all on decision making.
And actually, I guess that's a good segue into. I mean, one of my favorite things this year has been watching content about the game, about Ryan Field bringing streaming setups.
Yeah.
I actually haven't gone back and watched the VODs from Nationals, but I know that we had a side commentary table of Church and Rodney drink screening. We had multiple tables of every match. We had the entire team finals covered simultaneously. That's really amazing. And I remember I watched some of when you were talking about that. I'm thinking of one of the matches I watched on your YouTube channel on Rockford CCG, and one of the players was saying, "Oh, I played perfectly, but this game is just luck." And it's like, you're so bad, dude. That is the worst possible attitude, and you're also closing your eyes to all of the mistakes you made, and all of the, not even the mistakes, but just all of the money you left on the table here, man. Like, there's so much more you could have done. But no, you're already sure you're perfect. So, oh god, toxic attitudes. You got to get rid of that. But it's really great seeing. I mean, I had a great year in content. I have a weekly show. Semi-weekly show, we're terrible at our consistency.
You guys are still number one in my eyes, man. We're all just trying to chase you guys. You guys are like the senior class, or like, and then it's like us and you, my channel and UFSU is just, we're just trying to catch up to you guys. You guys have enough clout in the area, in the community, where it's like, we'll come on when important stuff is made.
We're the lazy upper class, but that's really what it is. Like, we already took our SAT. We know where we're going next year.
You're graduating. Yep.
Whatever.
Sure.
Yeah. Who cares? We still got to get Jesse on cardboard one of these days.
There you go. Yeah.
We needed to prepare better for nationals. I should have been prepared for that Liu Kang matchup way better.
He had a shot though. But the force was with force, and he just played very well all the way up into the. Him and Barrett had a really good finals match. So
Yeah, I'm super proud of my roster guys. We had an incredible showing at nationals. I think top 4, top 8, or top 2.
Top 2, top 4. Yeah, for sure.
I feel like I can at least pat myself on the back for preparing Jesse to murder Vegas all weekend. I think I probably had the best preparation, but I definitely own all of my losses this year. Like, I know. I came back from lunch in my match with Jesse, which effectively eliminated me from top 8 because of diversity.
Sure.
It was like round 4, and I already had a loss from playing against Heidi in round 2.
Damn, Bo Tucker.
Yeah, my deck is all mid attack. It's kind of tough to play against the +0 mid +6.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. No, I get you.
But he basically said, like, I had a revoke and a deliverance in my hand, and he played a missile launcher, and I basically said, this deliverance will be fine. I'm just gonna hold this revoke in case something really bad happens. And then the really bad thing that happened is he ought really But I had so many kind of thrilling 3-game sets. Even though I was losing, it was always really exciting, really close. There's so much to do in this Mortal Kombat set. Even if you're like getting crushed by aggro decks, like, you can just play a deck that cheeses their foundation base and says, if you go second, you're never ever gonna win. If you go first and like do some loosey goosey attacks and check bad, you're never ever gonna win. So I mean, the Ermac deck I played in teams in the UK. I'm surprised like how no one has done anything with that. It feels like. I mean, I was just actually thinking floating around. Everyone has their own completely different deck, I guess.
I was actually thinking about that on the way home from the gym today, about just being able to leverage certain cards that way, and with Jeddah in a way, because I kind of was thinking about it, because Jeddah can in the same vein as like the Ermac deck, where you're able to get rid of their foundations, you can princess parry their shit, you can really control a game with him off of death, obviously, but. Yeah, it'd be kind of a similar game, but it's not as destruction based. It's just more of I control what you can do type of thing, I guess.
And I always think that like the big thing with the Ermac deck and the big thing with that kind of tempo deck in general is that you can't always assume your opponent's going to be stuck in the Stone Age, but you can always speed bump them. You can always say, like, and even like Jet decks, they breaker 4 people. That's not actually a game winner on its own.
Yeah.
But it's something your opponent has to respect, and now you can try to leverage the rest of your game to work out how to win. But the big thing is that if you're going second, you can never keep your opponent on no cards. Yeah. Like they're so far ahead of you because they have an extra build turn on you.
Yes, exactly.
Yep. And especially like Ermac's design, a lot of these characters usually, if there's a lot like we used to be afraid of cards like Cataclysmic Force and Ever Hopeful, where you're trading one resource for your opponent's one resource. But now we're seeing a bunch of those. We're seeing Red Dragon Assassin. We're seeing Ermac who can do it as an engine over and over. But when you're trading one for one, if your opponent has that extra build turn on you, you're just treading water while they're ahead of you. Yeah, so they're going to you're eventually going to push you underwater and drown you. But conversely, you have to have a plan B. That's the really great thing about it. I think that might be my favorite one thing about UFS is that there's so many decks that can play flexible sort of plan A, plan B, plan C kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Deck building's so deep and so rich, and so there's so much to find and like cram into one deck at the same time.
Oh, for sure.
Like the Vega deck I love so much, like it plays like north of 20 attacks and 10 action cards.
Damn.
Like it is. Yeah, like because Vega buys me a ton of time.
Yeah.
Like my action cards include Revoke that can build itself and Fade that I can just get out of my hand whenever the hell I want. I'm just like, oh yeah, you're playing a card. I'm gonna get this Fade out of my hand. Let me draw that one next turn. So there's so much card churning and velocity, and then there's so many ways to get terribly unlucky because I'm playing like 7 one-shacks now these days.
Sure.
On top of 2s, on top of 20-something 3s or whatever. But then there's so many ways to get lucky, and there's so much power that you don't need to get lucky to win because you have one difficulty coffee sambas. Oh my god!
Yeah.
I could gush about this Vega deck for literally.
I know. But moving on, so we're just gonna break it up a bit. So
okay,
so 2018, you ended on a high note. So we're gonna end your 2018 on a high note. You ended in Reno as a champ.
Getting to play the trolliest Anachorus
deck ever.
Tri-symbol, like taking 0 damage from coffee sambas.
Yeah, that's gotta be something awesome. Yeah.
Honestly, I need to go. I kind of like. Do you think it'd be interesting to go like? Hear me commentate over my match with Scott if I get the finals video.
Yeah, dude.
I would 2 hours long of Anachorus.
I would listen to some of it. I don't know if I'd sit there for the whole 2 hours, but I'd definitely listen to some of it. Yeah.
Fun fact: in game 1, he kills me late.
Yeah. Oh
he
wow.
Beats
really?
me on like turn 10.
Oh wow.
Turn 15. Like he cycles and kills me.
Oh, that's the thing.
Yeah, it's a sick match. Like he plays incredibly the entire time. He did the most work, kind of making my life hard, my life awkward, because Anachorus is very responsive.
Yeah.
You can choose not to do things, and then I don't get to do things because I need to act first.
Yeah.
It was a really sick match. And he actually there's a point where he has me dead to rights, but he has to read that my 15 card hand doesn't have any revokes in it. It doesn't.
Spoiler alert. Yeah. So what are you looking forward to in 2019, UFS wise? So what are you looking forward to?
Obviously, I started playing UFS because of Soul Calibur. Okay. I played Soul Calibur in the arcade. I probably spent like hundreds of dollars of like 5th grade money at arcades for Soul Calibur 2, like playing the PvP Conquest. It was called Conquest mode. That's right. Okay. You'd like fight for territory, and then it got reset like every other week or whatever.
Sure.
And it was ridiculous, but I was really, like had to go there and keep protect my territory in the arcades.
Yeah.
That came out on consoles, and I played. That was like my entire summer was nothing but Soul Calibur 2.
Okay.
And when I literally like. I played some mega casual Pokemon, mega casual Magic, but my brother came home and said, "Hey, there's a Soul Calibur card game." Okay, I'm in. I'll learn that.
Yeah,
like that's all. And I played budget UFS for the longest time, and so I'm incredibly excited to see Soul Calibur come back. I don't care about Street Fighter at all. Mortal Kombat, it's very different than the Mortal Kombat I know and love from
I'm a Mortal Kombat 2 guy.
Exactly.
That's my all-time favorite.
Like, Scorpion and Reptile and Sub-Zero look the same. Yeah. What are you doing?
Yeah.
This is wrong. This is wrong.
And we have young Johnny Cage, not dad bod Johnny Cage.
Yeah.
So, I want young Johnny Cage back. Yeah.
Yeah, he like that guy doesn't look. That guy looks like a movie star. Like he's JCVD in that. Like that's not like a movie star. That's like
Yeah.
Anyway, that's an old man. Anyway. So I'm really excited about that new license. I'm really excited about like all the integration, like I get to play with Soul Calibur 6 sleeves.
Yeah, dude, that's pretty sick, so cool. Right?
Yeah. You know, I kind of got the fire back into me going to Reno and playing that tournament. I feel like I didn't get to talk to everyone nearly as much as I wanted to.
Yeah.
And that's like really what traveling's all about, is like meeting people and talking to them and you know, eating all their food.
Yeah.
And I did eat plenty of good food in Reno, but I really pretty much just hung out with Ryan Field and played my Nintendo Switch.
Oh, sure. Okay.
So I want to travel more this year.
Yeah.
Go back to the Kevin who just goes around stealing everyone's lunch money at every PTC every month. You know, I'm looking forward to getting to compete at Worlds and Nationals again.
Yeah.
Have a chance to redeem myself from like third place in diversity finishes every year, every freaking event. I'm like, the direction of the game feels really good, and that, you know, I know a lot of people are very displeased about whatever, but even just like the Jasper Games kind of their kind of presence at nationals was really reassuring. Like they're going out and listening to people. They're making they're making changes in response to that. They're soliciting feedback. They're going to tournaments. I mean, they banned Quan Chi because everyone hated him so much in advance, and so that's a really positive sign.
Sure.
You know, we see we have a set schedule. You know, Luke Butler's going out there and saying, you know, 4 sets 2019, and I actually believe him.
Yeah.
And also just like the Premier Store events we've started going to and started running, you know, in upstate New York. That's really cool to have that again. You know, we've been kind of self-propelling our own locals for the longest time, it feels like, and now like the game is there telling us, keep playing, like come back every week. Hopefully we can start growing our play group again, which we really haven't done at all in a long time here in Rochester.
Yeah.
Alongside that, but it feels like there's a lot of really good things happening in UFS and a lot of good things coming, and I'm really excited to see what kind of nonsense bullshit they print that doesn't have to get banned in the next set.
Yeah, that's
Hopefully
true.
they don't have to ban anything else like they did with Liu Kang, Quan Chi, and Twinkle Murdoch.
I don't think this last set has anything to be banned, so I think we're safe on that. Personally, I don't think anything is bannable. There's some strong stuff, but
I think honestly, like the counter to Akuma is really sweet. I'm going to tell you the sweetest play that no one who wasn't in Reno heard about was in round 1. Top 8 competitor Martin McMahon playing Chun-Li got paired against Scott Sudman's second top 8 competitor Kung Jin deck, and he had multiple like 12 a coffee samba and had stunned out Martin's board, but Martin had sense of morals, and Martin also had is it Interpol Agent, I think? The card.
Yeah, that card's cool, man. Yeah.
-1 speed for every card in your card pool. Like, no one plays that, but that's an incredible Akuma attack. That's an incredible anti-giant multiple attack.
Yep.
It's super cool. There's so much stuff to find. And like even just the Cassies, the Akumas, those decks are interesting to play.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just like herp derp, I'm going to put my cards on the table and they're going to play themselves. Like, you have to do some math. You have to...
Yeah, you have to figure it out if you're able, if it's worth it to, like, flood your card pool to kill a guy. If you can actually... Because I've whiffed big time with him, and then I pay for it because I can't do anything else after I have, like, 12 cards in my card pool. Yeah. If I haven't killed him, I'm just, Because Trent always holds a Coolum focused against me, so I've learned to just throw the high attack class now. So I'm just like, okay, you can half block it and die. It's cool.
Yeah, and like... And also, I mean, I just have to insert my gush about how much I love the powerful keyword. Like, Akuma pokes you, he puts some cards in his play, like, oh, geez, he's sure going to King Kong me here. He's going to Kongoku Kuretsu's at me. Yeah. I better not block this. And he's like, cool, 8 free damage.
Yep.
I have a momentum now. Yep. That's going to powerful your brains out soon.
Yep.
Your turn.
Yeah, I played a Psychia against Trent last night, and I was like powerful 5, and he's like, what? I'm like, yeah, it says powerful 5 right there on the card. And he's like, holy shit. Yeah. It was nuts. Yeah. I think I'm getting that affinity for the powerful keyword now, because that's neat. That's a lot of fun.
It's straight up, like I've said this before, it's straight up the killer app of the UFS game engine.
Yeah.
Like attacking and momentum and the powerful keyword. They flow. They're beautiful together.
Yep.
And there's so many more rules built on top of it. There's so much more nonsense we can invent. But that's like just the beautiful little, like, so simple, so satisfying. I love it. And I mean, seems like that Jason, the designers, they know how to tap into that kind of stuff because we see these satisfying designs like Goro.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So I'm really excited to see what's coming next.
Good.
I guess actually I should also be excited, but also, I mean, I have a champ card in the queue from last year's UK Nationals.
There you go. Yeah.
I should be excited about that, but mostly I should make sure that's going to happen. And I haven't done that. I'm terrible. Like you might have noticed that one of my cards came out like 4 years later.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we saw. Yep. Hey, sometimes
that's something to be excited about, though.
Yeah, there you go.
Hopefully I can win another one this year.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and then you can go 2-dot and then have a 3-dot, and then that'd be sweet.
The 3-dot club is not very well populated.
No, I think it's like
it's
just Garrett.
Is it just Garrett? Yeah,
maybe
there's
Garrett.
Several 2s.
Yeah, there's several 2s, but I think Garrett's the only. Well, I know he's the only 4, 5, and 6. So
yeah,
I know that. So, but okay, cool. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we finish the interview?
No, I think that's all I got. Cool. UFS is great. It's doing good.
Yep. Cool, man. All right. Well, thanks, Kevin. We appreciate it. We're gonna continue with my 2018 going into Worlds. The day before Worlds, I hurt my back. So the day before I'm supposed to fly, I hurt my back. I can't walk. I can't get up. I'm on the ground screaming my guts out to Kim and the other because I can't move. And I'm in so much pain. I never had been in this much pain ever. So
what did you do?
I rolled out of bed.
That's it?
Yeah.
God, you're old.
Yeah, I know I am. I'm almost 40, Rob. But I went to Worlds high on painkillers, kids. And woo, that was a trip. So found out that, I almost top-cutted with Yamato Man, fighting Danny Mosley for diversity the entire time. And I forget to double cats, kids. I forget to double cats because I'm like, well, he has 3 cards in his card pool. There's no way he can block this cat. He can't block this cats. It's at like, 4 speed, whatever. After Yamato Man and something else. And plays a +0 low block to take 6 instead of 11 like he should have. And we could be talking about my champ card right now. We could be. Not really, no, because I wasn't playing a Bebop character. But anywho. Worlds was okay. Other than that snafu, it was fine. It was easily the best ran tournament they had run so far. There were no repairs, and if there was, there was because some Barrett and Kevin's match, someone crossed the wrong thing, but it was really fast, and they got that taken care of. We were in our own room, so we weren't near the chiptune music a la 2017. Dude, everyone missed that. But yeah, so World was taken down by a surprise, surprise, Bebop character. Tim Keefe over James Stevens. James Stevens made a good showing, though, playing Asimov and Katarina, who was considered...
Dude, in top 16, every single Bebop character that was matched up against a non-Bebop character won.
Oh, I know. This. Yes, I know this. But James Stevens took down Mad Perot. He took down another Punch and Judy deck. He took down the Jet deck.
So he played that beforehand, right? Didn't he play in Texas
he played in Lubbock
Arkansas or something?
He won Lubbock. Playing the same deck with I think he changed I want to say
not a lot. Dude.
Not
I
a
feel
lot.
Like he changed only 3 or 4 cards.
Yeah, 3 or 4 cards. It wasn't very many. But I think he was I think people wanted him to win because Tim had won the year before. But I don't think people were really mad if Tim won either because everyone loves Tim Keefe. So you can't be angry. But
I mean, honestly, that Asimov and Katarina, that was sort of a wild deck because I know it won Lubbock.
Yep.
And
it came out of nowhere.
Everyone was just like, "What is this?"
Yeah.
And they're just whatever. That's not a real deck.
Yeah.
And he sure showed us. He ran it all the way to second world. Place. So.
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, it was.
I mean, no one's really played it since, right? So I don't know if it's just not interesting or if people feel like it got weaker.
It might have.
What? But
I don't think it really was. Well, maybe a couple defensive pieces out of the Mega Man tins, like Agile Warrior, maybe.
Gotcha.
Since you can always because I know he had that in his deck, so you could always re-ready stuff. You can re-ready it.
So he was what on? He was on order.
He was on order, yeah.
Then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even with all that bad
I guess
spam.
Depending on what symbol you do, I mean, now you have like, if you're on Chaos, you have like Face of a Monster. So, I mean, I guess you can't re-ready that, but it's the same type of thing.
Yeah, true.
So.
Yeah. Okay. So Tim Keefe took it down. So we'll listen to Tim Keefe's 2018. All right, guys. Here we are on the year in review show. We have Tim Keefe, our still world reigning champion, I believe.
Yep,
yes, two times.
4 more months.
4 more months. Okay.
Yep.
So
4 more years.
4 more years. I'll go 5 more years of Tim reigning over us. That's fine. But yeah, he's gonna talk about his year in 2018 and some thoughts he had on UFS as a whole and what he looks forward to in the coming year. So go ahead, Tim, take it away.
All right. Yeah. First of all, congratulations on making it through a full year
Thank you.
of almost weekly shows.
Yeah,
it's
almost.
easier said than done.
Yeah. Yep.
Some weeks are easier than others.
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
My 2018 was, in a lot of ways, kind of similar to my 2017. In the first part of the year, I landed on a deck that I wanted to try fairly early. Spike 2 was much more obviously good than Farraman was. But nonetheless, it was sort of the same. Build the initial deck, take it to some PTCs and stuff, and iterate on it. I think I got both decks to 2 or 3 events. Both went through like some changes I liked, some changes I didn't like. And then, when I got into Worlds, Farraman was definitely an off-meta sort of deck, but it could, because it had Templar and Revoke, it could handle aggro better than people thought, and it was beating some Tomahawk men, so I figured it was good enough to take in. Wasn't expecting to get anything out of it, but the way the dominoes fell, I wound up being able to win that event. And Spike 2, I obviously felt like I had a little bit more of a chance because it was a much more obviously powerful deck. But now you're facing the issue where you're running a deck that people are prepared for. I was sort of fortunate that Spike 1 became as popular as he was, because then the things you do to prepare for Spike 1 are so much different, and to some extent you want to set up to play the long game with him, and that was something that Spike 2 at the time was really good at, playing long games relative to other aggro decks, just because he has a hand pack strategy.
Yeah.
He wasn't trying to speed boost you or stun you out or anything like that. And then the second half, 2017, I wasn't able to make US nets. Just time off budget, travel budget, etc. kind of dried up on me. And this year, I was able to do a bunch more traveling in the second half of the year. But, unfortunately, I sort of learned that, with my playgroup situation being what it is, which is almost non-existent, I can go down to Cape Cod now, which is cool. But that's a recent turn of events.
Cool.
I really need to actually iterate on decks at PTCs and stuff. Like, those have to be my alpha beta testing grounds, because ultimately, and part of this was just due to the ban of Quan Chi coming down, I wound up basically constructing a Colocan a week before Nats, and it's a pretty good deck, but it needed more iteration than, hey Garrett, can you test this a little bit? Which he did, because Garrett's cool like that.
Yeah.
So like, it wasn't version 0, but version 0.1 wasn't Nats ready.
Sure.
Ultimately.
You also went to the UK, right?
Yeah. So like, I went to the UK, and for whatever reason, this format, I was really caught up in diversity, just trying not to, because there's a lot of people that I want to see do well and win. And so I don't want to be, other than obviously if I play against them, I don't really want to be a factor that reduces their odds.
Sure.
Right.
But like, the list of that people is so long that I was like, well, I don't want to play this because so-and-so's playing. I don't want to play this because I think so-and-so's playing. Well, I don't want to play. And like, by the time I narrowed everything down, there wasn't that much good left. So I wound up playing Jet as sort of a last-minute thing for the UK, even though like, I knew I wasn't going to be, I knew I was going to be letting Slam play that, right?
Yeah.
Or, well, Slam was going to play that regardless of what I did, but, and so, I played that as a one-event thing, and then, same thing with Sniper Joe in teams was sort of, I wanted to explore the deck, but I wasn't expecting that it was actually going to be my Nats deck, and then the Melina hadn't panned out, but I felt like I had to run her just because I spent so much freaking time on her.
Sure.
And so yeah, and then Quan Chi got banned. I was actually about to almost settle on a Quan Chi, and then that got banned. And then, you know, because the reason I hadn't looked into Cole Kong because I knew there was going to be some at the UK. And then I got around to looking back at him, and he was also sort of a Quan Chi victim.
Sure.
Like,
yeah.
Deck that didn't really want to run into Quan Chi.
Right.
Yep. I ended up taking that to a Premier. Sorry to cut you off. I know I took your list and I took it to Premier Store event. That deck is just absolutely a blast to play.
Yeah.
He's
really
turned
fun.
into one of my favorite characters from that set. He's just awesome.
I did end up winning Common Ground with Cole Kong. So
nice,
cool.
Dude. Congrats.
But yeah, the deck that I sent you was a few cards different, and because pretty much the very first thing I did when I came home from Nats and unpacked my bag, I took Cole Khan out, I put him on the table, I changed 7 cards, and then once I was done, I was like, yeah, I messed up. You should never come back from a major event and then change 7 cards immediately. So you did not tune your deck enough.
Yeah,
right?
True.
You know, 1 or 2 cards maybe, right? Like, okay, that Soul Trap was too cute. All right, fine, whatever. But
you also came to Rockford for the first time this year too, I believe.
Yep.
This was your first time. I know you placed 3rd, I believe. Yeah, if I remember correct, you placed 3rd.
You won the Mountain of Jet Diversity.
Yeah, the Jet.
What'd you do? Diversify Scott for like the 3rd time?
Yeah.
What a monster.
Yeah. Couldn't avoid.
Yeah, he also diversified one of my locals too.
And I'm still diversifying Scott.
Yeah, he also one of my local players was diversified by Tim as well. He's been playing Jet since Bebop's been out, so he also got diversified by Tim too. He was actually happy to be diversified because he couldn't make it the next day if he actually made it any further, so he was fine with it.
Yeah, Jet was fun to work on. I never really played Earth decks save for a very ill-fated Poughkeepsie PTC with Earth Joe.
Okay.
At one point. So it was fun to get to work on an Earth deck and to get to play War for Armageddon and reclaiming what's ours and some cards I like to play that happen to have mountains on them. So
then after Nats, you basically you played in the Cape Cod PT Premier Store?
A Premier Store event in Cape Cod.
Yeah.
Kind of their first one.
Cool.
Had a lot of the this person has a family thing this week and can't make it, some of that.
Okay, that happens a lot.
We had 4 or 5 people.
Sure.
I had a ring man that I was just really itching to build with the new Darkstalker stuff with the
Big Baby.
The Big Baby, yeah.
Nice.
The Big Baby and Soul Fist, the Fusion Soul Fist.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
But it was fun. It was probably too fair to be playing with Reptile and Akuma and Ken and whatnot, but
okay.
I had a good time. If I get to another one, it's probably going to be something more lame.
Something more that you can win with?
Well, I want to see what Life Spike 1 can do right now.
Okay, yeah.
I'm really interested in the Morgan throws in him.
Yeah.
I hope you at least consider... what was the one that I had? I can never remember the name of it. The Gabrick one, the 2-check.
Yeah. I've definitely considered that.
Yeah.
To figure out how all in on throws I want to be. Do I want to care about landing attack ever?
Yeah. I mean, it's like a 5-diff Fallen Angel. That's a throw.
Yeah.
So
that you can play other attacks in the turn.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I still remember when we our match in Rockford because he popped the thing to look at my hand and I show him my hand. It was 3 attacks and one of them was that one which what is it called? Kustentumen. Yeah. And he looks at that and he just goes, "Well, better not go into deadlock."
He
was at 9 foundations or something. He was like, "Oh,
you know what I'm not doing this turn?
Damn it." Yeah, he's like, "Well, I guess I'm just gonna attack."
Damn it. I know that one of my favorite moments from this year is teaming with Tim at Nats. Me and Slam and Tim were Chief Keef and one of the greatest team names of all time because it had multiple meanings. But yeah, he imparted some very good wisdom in the middle of one of our matches. He told me to slow the fuck down, which was something I have a problem with. But yeah, it was great teaming with you, Tim, and I learned a lot and about just a whole bunch of different things UFS-wise, and I hope we get to team again in the future. And
and hopefully I'll have a real deck that's tuned.
Feel
bad about that.
My Liu Kang deck wasn't obviously the best Liu Kang deck there, obviously, because I got my ass beat all weekend. But still, though, I had a great time, and it was fun, and so I look forward to it. So, moving forward, what are you looking forward to in 2019, other than maybe playing more UFS? I mean, like, with UFS, I know you want to play more. What are some goals and stuff you're looking forward to?
Yeah, well, we'll see how the release schedule pans out. Mm-hmm. I'm certainly hoping, for basically reasons just discussed, that the next set, this February set, doesn't have a Twinkle or Liu Kang in it.
Sure.
Or something that, like, warps the format for a couple PTCs, and then, like, they have to ban it because, like, you just have to ban things sometimes, and then, like, some practice goes to naught. So I kind of hope it's, I don't want to say a safe set because you want them to try new things. But
I mean, on the same level, the Darkstalker versus Street Fighter characters, if they're in that level, I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, that'd be cool. So it's hard to say. Deck building for me right now is kind of hard, just because first of all, the number of different things you have to try and cover, and second of all, just the number of different things I want to try. I'm like, well, I want to play Dark Chirito. I want to play Revoke. I'd kind of like to play Puppet Cannon. I want to be able to play Bang. Mm-hmm. These cards don't share symbols. So at some point I'm going to have to, pick. Mm-hmm. Hopefully pick one or two things early that I want to work on, so that I can get something good and tuned. And not that I expect that to lead to winning worlds every time, but hopefully it will lead to not coming home and changing 6 cards immediately.
Yeah, you have a pretty good shot coming in and having. So if you do win the 3rd belt, where's it going? Like you can wear one around your waist, one on your arm,
just one on each shoulder.
One on each shoulder. Yeah. Are you gonna hold them up and then hold one in your mouth? Like,
I mean, I consider the odds to be low enough that I haven't thought about it.
Hey, man, come on. The reigning defending champ always has always the favorite in my eyes. It's always the favorite in my eyes. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think any singles event like this,
sure,
card game or otherwise, it's like golf. You go to Worlds, there's probably going to be, between player skill and the decks that they have, especially since it's become, easier in the sense that, like, it's easier to build a deck that can at least murderize people. Mm-hmm. And so I would expect we're probably going to go into Worlds with at least 30 players that you could say have, like, a legitimate chance to win.
Sure.
And so your, like, baseline odds of winning Worlds are, if you think you're one of those players, it's like 3%. Mm-hmm. And if you think you're like a better one of those players, it's 5%.
So you're saying there's a chance. All right.
Yeah. I mean, I would hope there's a chance, but
so
I don't consider it very likely.
So are we going to be getting both Tim Keefs with the new champ?
Oh, nice. Oh, that's right. We have your cards to look forward to. Yes, that's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I tried to get Jason the abilities before he went on his trip, but I think I was late. So I haven't gotten any feedback on how aggressively he's going to light those on fire. Obviously I think they're, like, good but not great, as every champ thinks about their champ designs.
Sure.
But, we'll see. Hopefully they take a moment to test it a little bit. And I could be wrong, right? So something could be better than I think it is. Mm-hmm. I know the one art's done. Obviously, it's been on Facebook and everything. The other art's in progress. I got the first sketch.
Okay.
So we'll go for it. Still going to be a ways away, but it should be done in time.
Cool. And those come out, in July, roughly? They said?
It should be like June or July.
Yeah, it should be July. We'll see. It would probably behoove Jasko to try to move that schedule a little bit so that the champs that are at Worlds have cards to hand out.
That's true. Yeah.
Not to have them legal for Worlds, but if they can try to make it like, okay, the full release is late June 1st or something, but the champs will have them at Worlds so you can get them early or whatever.
Sure. Yeah. Then you could technically play yourself at the Rockford PTC in July if they have it like that. That would be sweet.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, my days off this year are going to be stressed by
mine are
14
too.
expansion.
Sure. Oh yeah.
That's going to eat at least 3 days.
Sure.
And so, you know, between that and a bunch of trips, there aren't too many trips I can take on just like half a day.
Oh yeah, sure.
Most of them are the ones out, but obviously if I want to go to Rockford, I'm not just going to like show up Friday night and then leave Sunday afternoon.
Oh no, I understand. Yeah.
I mean, you can.
You can if you want to. I think Rob's done that.
Like, why am I going to Rockford?
I did have to leave early this past one.
Yes, you did. Yeah, you were missed. But yeah, so
what?
Yeah,
so it's like between that and the UK and Phoenix and Omaha are all like these multi-day trips. I just have to figure out what I want to do.
Yeah. So you're going back to the UK this year then?
It's among the things I'm thinking about doing.
Okay. Cool. Cool.
I think as of right now, I expect I have 4 days off to move around. So if obviously I go to the UK, then it's going to be hard to do much else. But you know, we'll see.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. Is there anything you'd like to say to the community for, you know, in general? Like, you know.
Yeah, if you want to just tell them how you're going to get that third championship.
Yeah, or what cards not to place, you know, so we could play them, or we don't have to so we don't have to play against them, or whatever.
I don't do trash talking. I'm hoping that, I'm kind of hoping that, you know, when Jason does get back, they do take a look at some of the diversity and the stuff that sort of reignited a little bit after Rochester's show.
I haven't watched it yet.
I will feel a lot better about the upcoming format if it's 2x diversity, and I don't have to have that like, oh, I'll feel bad if I play the same thing that this person's playing. If there's single diversity, I'm just going to try not to care about it, because it went so badly for me last time. But I'd rather it just not be that harsh.
Sure. Okay. All right. Sweet. Alrighty then. So thanks for coming on.
Yep. Thanks.
We wish you all the luck in 2019. You know, maybe not against us if we face you in finals, but yeah. But again, thanks, Tim. I appreciate you coming on. Rob, thanks as always. And stay tuned for more interviews. We have a couple more people lined up, so stay tuned. We'll talk to you guys later.